Hi, everyone. This is Pam Torrey from Ingaged, and you're listening to the Ingaged podcast. We know tech is changing the way people market and sell now more than ever. And on this show, I sit down with sales and marketing thought leaders and experts to learn how you can create, share, and measure your way to success. In this episode, I'm sitting down with Jeff Lennon, CEO and creative director at CreativeMindConcepts, to learn how he's helped businesses create better customer experiences with the right combination of design, technology, and creativity. Jeff, it is so great to have you here today.
It's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So I'm really excited to talk to you because we have really been working together closely lately. And so I've gotten to know you and gotten to know how you approach working with our mutual customers and people who are in the industry that we both serve, home improvement. And I'm really excited to dig into your background and your expertise, because you do have this real marriage of creativity and technology going on over at CreativeMindConcepts. So I would love to dig in and get started with giving our listeners some overview of your background and what inspired you to create CreativeMindConcepts.
All right, cool. Yeah, we had an event production company, a very large one, multi-million-dollar event production company, where we had accounts like Disney, celebrity accounts, and things like that. We learned kind of early on that, a lot of companies want their business, but we had the ability to do the business, but we just had to sell it, okay? And so we went in there, realized that through presentations was our first thing. We realized that we got the account, but we needed the big jobs, like I said, the premieres and things like that. And so what we were able to do is use presentations to make that change. We started off by showing the whole event. We put them through the experience with presentations, whether it was videos, whether it was animation, whatever it was. We put all that together and gave them a great experience to where we stood out from the competition. And it started, we did all the corporate events, we did all these other events. And it finally got us into saying, boy, if we're getting all their business this way, and literally just to give you an idea, we're doing 200 events a week. This company's giant, okay? And so to get this business and to go after a lot of this stuff, we used that technology. And then we decided to say, wait a minute, at these corporate events, we're watching them do presentations, we're watching them do other things. And quite frankly, they weren't that great. And so what we did is we start saying, okay, how about if we help you with these? And they kind of asked too. It was more them asking than anything. Can you guys help us with this? We just saw the other one. So that's kind of how we got started. It then became an event/presentation agency. My daughter, I kind of think I mentioned this maybe before. My daughter's now the big event entrepreneur and gone her direction with that. And I've stayed with the presentation agency and then started kind of how I segued into this. I was going to do all corporate, all everything else. And we ended up taking on a pretty large home improvement company for one of our first customers. We watched how that changed their sales. We watched how it made a big difference for them. And we saw, wait a minute, this might be a niche market, a new home for us. And we stayed. We never left. So that's kind of how our game became how we went to market. And the focus is just there. We're happy with that. So.
Yeah, I do love that parallel in our stories, because Engage kind of has a similar pathway. We started off doing digital content on the iPad, and then doing digital content for big pharma companies, and then home improvement found us.
Yeah,
they found
it's interesting.
us.
Yeah,
and then it's truly, we use the same language. Like, we found our home here and just kind of never left.
Yeah, you didn't have to leave. It was such a great market, and so many friends you make in this business. Kind of neat.
Most definitely. Yeah. So I'd love to know a little bit more about who CreativeMindConcepts is, and then who specifically do you help?
Okay, so we help home improvement companies. That's our focus, as I mentioned. We focus on just the sales presentations, kind of an idea. Like you, we have several thousand presentations out there. Okay, we do. We have our sales presentations are gaining billions of dollars for our customers out there. They seem to love it. We picked up through this process, we picked up about 7 of the top 10 companies nationwide and started helping them. And then realized that, boy, if we can, it's kind of like, I'm going to take you back for a second. When we got the Disney account, we knew we can get everybody underneath that. When we went and talked and started getting the top accounts in this industry, we knew it'd be easier to convince the other companies, hey, if we're doing them, we could definitely help you. So now we help them and companies of all sizes. And the reason we do companies of all sizes and treat them just the same is because, like you guys and like us, we're entrepreneurs too, and we knew we needed that help early on. So I see it as like I'm helping them build their business, and I'm kind of excited. It's almost like I get to build a whole bunch of businesses with them. Of course, they're the smart guys, but we get to help them do that. So that's probably the biggest. And I think the biggest difference with us is that we can go ahead and take any customer with any presentation and just get a logo from them. That's all we need. We'll know, we can find out what products they're doing from their website. We can find out a lot of things, and we could take that and build their entire presentation off of that. And that became our big niche in the market. About 50% of our customers would say, you know everything about these products, you know everything you've done, for everybody out there. How about if we just give you our logo and you guys run with that? And that's what we've been doing. And that gave us a certain advantage as well. So it was pretty neat.
So you have some really intriguing functionality that you build into presentations that you work on, and you really leverage video and AI in very cool ways that I've seen from working with you. Could you elaborate on how video and AI can be incorporated into sales presentations and how they impact the customer experience? Because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, is improve the customer experience to increase sales. So how do those two elements, video and AI, contribute to that?
Cool. Video is awesome. Video is, the old corny, it's a corny scene. A picture says 1,000 words and all that kind of. What's a video do? Well, it's dynamic. It's storytelling. It creates an experience much better than just images. Okay. And so we take that and we do that. What do we do with the videos? Well, we might edit them for customers. We might change them a bit. We might shorten them, because you can have this big, long video in a house. That's wrong. You know what I mean? And that's what they'll send us. So we help them with that, because they don't usually have the technologies to do that real quick and make them blend with words and everything else. It's a complex thing. But we'll go ahead and help them with the videos. We'll take that. We'll use them in testimonials. Videos and testimonials are great. You can have a written thing. Everybody goes, well, who wrote that? But you see someone saying that's real cool. So much so in our presentations, when we pass them off through Ingaged, they can go in where on a blank page, where it's a hidden page, right? Where they haven't yet got those testimonials, and they can click on it, and it tells them exactly what we're looking for in a testimonial. It tells them how to frame their customers and everything else, so that when we put it all together, it looks real clean in the presentations where, I know it's getting details, but all the people look the same, and they're just exactly there in this image. And then when you click on one, it's just uniformity and looking great. So that's the video part of it. I got to tell you something with your scroll motion on Ingaged. That's a big game changer too, by the way. So take some credit there, because with the video part of it, I can take video and set it right next to the scroll motion if I want. And if people want to show the video, they can. It's great. They can watch the whole video. But if you got a customer and you're losing a little bit of them, you can take that scroll motion and do the same story as an option and go right through. Here's a piece where they did this. Here's a piece where they do that. For those of you who don't know scroll motion, it's basically like a bar that moves across the screen that you can control and take people through a video quicker, but also hit key points and stop on them. So that feature's improved. AI. So we could take, images, kind of like the FBI. We could take a crappy image and blow up the pixels and blow everything into it and make it usable. So that's something that a lot of customers really don't do. Okay. And so they might have a bunch of pictures, but we get, I was like, why'd they send those? We need better pictures. Instead of bugging them, we could take it in AI a lot of times and fix them. As far as, text is great in AI. If you have a company story or something and you need to shorten that or put in a bullet points or things like that, that's easy to do with AI, and we can help with that as well. I'm trying to think of human avatars. You've seen us use those.
Yes, I have.
Asked me for a company video, and I didn't want to be the man talking. So you want a talking face? I go ahead and use human avatars, to go ahead and speak the story. So that's awesome. Taking images, I'm just going to hit them all. I'm so excited about AI. You could take an image that's this big by this big, and it doesn't fit in something that you had a screen that you needed by this. We can go, like on a roofing one the other day. They didn't finish the roof. They took a horrible picture at the company, a great roofing job, but they didn't show the whole thing. We actually expanded the roof with the image in AI and made it look the same particles, same parts, same everything. So we blew it sideways and we blew it up, and we're able to use images. So we could do that real quick. So those are the big thing. If you have images that got an old logo you might have, or an old something on that, we can go right inside those pictures and erase things right live, like in seconds. And it takes that part out, but keeps the background and everything else in it. Whole bunch of stuff. You didn't mention HTML5. We can do that as well. We're starting to put that in some of your stuff. And that allows us to do some cool animation things as well, that where it fits. Animation isn't always something you want in too much of in a presentation because it takes people away from stuff. But at the right point, we can do that as well. So yeah, there's a lot of features.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me how you guys specifically use AI to take advantage of the collateral the customer's already sending you,
Yeah.
even if it's not great. I mean, that's something we run into all the time when we're trying to support customers. It's like, this image is not going to look good on a 12-inch iPad Pro. Like it's not going to look good on that screen. So what can you do to take the images they have to help make them look good on the devices they're going to be using? And it's really
Yeah.
interesting to be able to leverage this technology to do that kind of support.
It's huge. I mean, it's a big game changer. If
So
used properly, you can get too far in it. Yes.
yeah, you can definitely take it to a point where you're like, that doesn't look like a person.
No, it's lame. Yeah. You have to be really good with it.
Yeah, you gotta be very specific with what you're looking to do. But that's why you go
You
to
have to be a good human.
that's why you go to someone who has expertise in how to use the AI appropriately to increase that customer experience.
Agreed.
So thinking about customer experience, taking it some steps further, could you share some of the key challenges you see home improvement companies facing when it comes to closing deals and effectively presenting their services? Where are the pitfalls or the typical obstacles that you see in home improvement presentations around that?
Building trust is a big one. When you go in there, you've got to build trust. You've got to separate yourself. I mean, everyone's going in there. When they go in to see a lot of people getting three bids or three different things and quotes or whatever. And so you have to build the trust, and let them know. We do a lot of the research for that, by the way. So, in our stuff, we go ahead and find out everything about you to build trust. So we help with that. If you don't have it, we even give people reviews they didn't even know they had. Okay. So we take it that far. That's part of our research team we have set up here. We've got customer knowledge. Let me see. There's work involved. They need to know about the work involved. If you don't tell them about the work involved, you don't tell them about some of the benefits, you're not going to sell those points. And then when you get into that, it's a competitive market, and you might be looking into more things like, how am I going to sell above everybody else that goes in there? What's, again, going to differentiate me? What's going to make? That's a big challenge, because a lot of the companies start looking the same if you just go in with your old pitch book and your old stuff. It's not going to do well. You're not. And you're going to have somebody that's used either of us or us as a combination, which is the great package, and they're going to nail it. They're just going to nail it. So timeline, managing their timelines, making sure they know about the timelines, because later on there might be cost involved they didn't know, and you don't want to look like a bad customer going back to them saying that we need to do this. I'm looking at some notes here because I did have notes on this one that I didn't want to miss. I'll be honest. Pricing and budget constraints, the ROI and value. If you're not selling the proper ROI and value to your customers, you're now going to have your sales reps in there selling for lower price points, and that's never a good thing. Okay. So you don't want that. And we create the path so you could tell the right story. So in the beginning, we show a lot of pain. We show some pain and how you're the solution to that. That's a big process that we do. We don't spend too much time on the pain, but we do show some pain, meaning problems in the industry. And then we show how you can solve all that. Your license, your insurance, your testimonials are important that they get in there in the proper drop downs, not like big picture of your license, have it right. Okay, I'm trying to think some other ones. Overcoming objectives. That's a big thing. If you create that same pain I talked about, and then your company story is right, you have the right or the ability at the end of that to ask the question. And we always say, what would you say? Would you say that everything we showed you, would you want to do business with our company? Something like that. And don't be afraid to ask that question, because what that does later on is they won't come back and say, I'm not sure you're the right company, because you just showed them all that. And with Ingaged, got a cool feature that scroll down again in a different way. You could do check marks. We just recap this, and this, and all these things. And then you ask them that question, would you say we're the right company to do business with? You feel comfortable doing business with? Of course they're going to say yes, because they just looked at everything and looked perfect. You've checked that box off. Now you got to sell them on the next subject, which is product. And we do that well as well.
Yeah, I think that people often forget, because this is the industry we work in. We're here every single day. Our customers are out, boots on the ground, every single day, selling roofs, selling siding, selling windows, bathrooms.
Sure.
They forget that the homeowner may only do this once in their lives. A homeowner may only ever replace one roof, may only ever buy windows once, may only ever do one bathroom remodel. A lot of people move rather than remodel. So, there's a lot of education you need to do, and everyone has heard a horror story about a contractor.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone. There's so much work you have to do to overcome the customer's ignorance and the customer's fear.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is true. And we do that. That's part of, again, going back to the pain thing. We talk about that. We're open to that. We're saying, let me show you our license. Let me show you our insurance. So much so that we showed, we've got 1 million insurance here with a 2 million aggregate with a workers' comp insurance of $1 million and an umbrella policy. So if someone does fall off your roof, if you don't have those insurance, they're an employee of yours in your home and you could be sued for it. With us, they're not an employee. They work for the company, of course, and these are the checkoff points and all the insurance that we have properly. So very dangerous if you don't do that. Very, very correct if you do go with the company that does do it. Big difference. Big difference.
Yeah. So very recently, we formally announced our strategic partnership between Ingaged and CreativeMindConcepts, which we were very excited to finally tell the world about.
Yes.
Can you give our listeners some more details about how our partnership enhances sales presentations and how ultimately it will benefit the in-home sales rep, the in-home sales process?
Okay, sure. This started, I don't know, I think you know this, but it started about a year and a half ago or something like that with Jeff Lennon and me.
I was here.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. And we've been competitors. I mean, just to be honest, everybody, so you all know, we were competitors. I think we got sick of taking jobs from each other. You know what I mean? Like each one's going, how'd they get that? How'd you get that? And so it's very risky for us to do something like this, of course. And so I wanted to be directly, and of course, the CEO, Dean Curtis, who's a great guy, wanted to be direct with me. So we both met as CEOs and started talking about risk, what we wanted to do, some of the changes, what the value we can bring to the customers. And I think it came to be that you guys were known for the great technology. We had technology, kind of have better technology and some of the better stuff than we do. We were known for the great presentations part. So the marriage in the partnership made really great sense to bring us both together. Okay, it really did. But again, there's always people going, well, what happens here? So, there's a fear. So we erased that risk. We put together some things in place to make that better. And we formed a partnership. And I got to tell you, here we are, but I got to tell you that it now gives our customers a lot, because now the customers don't have to pick between the two. Well, they got the best of this, but they have the best. They don't have to do that anymore. And the two top companies in the nation came together to do this. And I think for them too, it isn't just for us. It was for them mainly with that in concern. And I got to be honest, and I want to say this here on this podcast, every single person I've worked with in your company has been super. From the CEO, who I call him Coach.
He is a coach.
I know he's a coach. I know he is anyways. We've talked several times about that. But I call him Coach because he's such a great coach. And all you people, everyone in your team has been special to work with. And so I've enjoyed the process, and I'm very excited and very happy to be doing this. And it makes it even better for when I'm building for all our clients.
Yeah, I really love what you said about how, we have the technology, we have a lot of enablement functionality built into the platform. We're really focused on distribution, measurement, getting things into people's hands. But you guys have such an expertise on product presentation. I really think it's like unmatched expertise on how to present the product, and also just an enormous amount of knowledge on the products that are out there. You've worked with pretty much everybody. So it's like, it was really, to me, a no-brainer on marrying great technology, really cool functionality with the world-class product presentations that our customers want and that they need for these in-home sales presentations. Because again, people buy a roof once. They need a great presentation to understand it.
Listen, if they go in with our combined products, and they will, it's kind of like just if you take those two and put a good sales rep together, you're going to own that business. You're just going to own that business. We're going to make sure you own that business. So,
most definitely, come at us. We're going to get you the.
Yeah, I'm ready. We're excited. We're already doing them. You've already been getting this. We've been going.
Have fun. So, as a wrap up, sure. Jeff, I always like to ask folks who come on the podcast this question: what is a trend you think sales leaders or business owners should be focused on right now, in this moment?
Okay. I have a few, but I think it's this way. I think that this is unfortunate, but young people are having a harder time getting into the housing market. Okay. It's just known with interest rates and some other things going on there. It's very hard. They're both working and barely hitting it. So that's happening with a lot of youth. So we start to see a lot of older people. No, not me, just older people. Okay. So we're starting to see a lot of older seniors that you might be seeing more, or your customers might be seeing more than the other younger folks. So with that in mind, I see a trend is going to be going towards more products that also help with that. You know what I mean? It might, I'm not saying everybody needs to start doing walk-in tubs, but think about it. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's very true. I had my mom, I'm actually working with her to try to downsize her into something that's safer of her. And I'm thinking about those things too. Like aging in place is such a huge market.
It's a giant market. So I would be thinking about that if I was a homeowner, because I see so much of what's going on out there. So we're well versed in it. I think customers are more educated and they don't have a lot of time. They're used to taking their phone and getting everything they need in a couple seconds. Don't be in their house showing them how many nails go into the roof and how neat that is. Okay. What you need to do is you need to sell on your company, the benefits you offer from others, and how you need to sell them that you're definitely the right choice for them. That's number one, that they trust you. And number two, that you know your products and that you're offering the best product. You don't need to go into the fine details anymore. You can have those available. We do that. So you can scroll down and get to them if you need to answer that, what I call the engineer customer, the guy that knows more than we'll ever know. Okay. But you need to have them there so he thinks you're smart enough to answer all these things and do that. He or she apologizes. You need to do that. But with that in mind, you need to shorten the time. I think it's a quick access world, so they can get this information in seconds. So they could pretty much know everything you're going to tell them kind of while you're there. Just make sure you sell your company quite well. Packaging your company up. I think a big thing is packaging your company up for a future sale is also pretty smart for a lot of these business owners. I see it happening with a lot of our customers right now. I have so many customers that we built their presentations for, and the next thing I know, they're going, "Oh, we're going over to this company." I'm going, "Cool, we do them as well." You know what I mean? So they're and then or one example is, I won't say names, but a very giant company who the president of that company went over from their company and took us with us to another giant company because they merged. So you're going to see more and more of that. And I think setting up a sales process and proving it like you guys do with your technology, that this is working and this is how we're finding out what homeowners want. This is how we're finding out who's selling the best, and getting your excuse me, I'm jumping all over, but getting your 20% of your sales guys who are doing 80% of your business, getting the rest of those 80% up to be equal or close to equal to them through the technology and a good presentation. You have to focus on doing that to separate yourself from the competition.
Yeah.
And that's something you better be paying big attention to. You better know what's going on when they go into that house. You should know that. And that you don't need to have a sales manager go with them anymore.
No.
You just have him watching reports. It's a bigger game and a smarter game. And if the other guys are playing it, I think you might want to play it too.
Well, the consolidation is rampant in this industry, whether it's private equity firms coming in and snapping up companies, or whether it's one company deciding that they want to go national. And so they start buying up their competition regionally, and then they go national.
I just got one yesterday from another company. These people are going giant. It's a private equity firm and it's putting all their money into this. And I happened to be in a meeting with Dean, your CEO, yesterday, and I was telling him about it. This company's doing this. We should be watching this. So very, very, that's happening a lot more than it used to.
Yeah. I definitely think like getting your house in order, as you were talking about, like packaging your company for sale really means like just getting your house in order. Are you operationally efficient? Do you have a sales process?
Yeah.
Are your reps efficient? Because if like you said, if you have 80% of your reps are kind of like dead weight, why a PE firm is going to look at you an potential acquirer is going to look at you and say, why do you have all these people on payroll? You need to train everybody, get them up to snuff, so that way you can continue to grow.
Yeah, if you don't have all those things, not saying you're going to sell your company. Some people just love their company, don't want to do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm one. I love what I do. I don't stop. Okay, but with that in mind, if you do have that offer and you are prepared, you're that much better than everybody else.
Yeah, and I think it's just about leaving your options open.
Yeah, and your sales process, if you don't have one, Cool. We'll create it right through the presentation for you. So if you're not really stuck with a great one or you don't mind using yours and attaching it to our national experience, like from the hundreds of thousands or whatever people we've met or the reps we have out there or the thousands of things we've built, if you want to merge that experience that you have with some of that, we can help with that. And as far as sales strategies, our presentations can walk you through a sales strategy if you don't have one.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of options out there for folks today.
Yeah, I just I love it. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jeff. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. And I'm really excited that our customers get to hear from you today. And they also now have the option to marry Engage's technology with the design of Creative Mind Concepts.
Yeah. You guys join us. We're ready.
We are.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Ingaged podcast. Be sure to visit engaged.io for more information on how to create, share, and measure your way to success. If you like the Ingaged podcast, we'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and review us on Spotify or Amazon Music. Until next time.